Hey, Capital fans! It's your friendly SID Ryan Gaster here, and I've been going up and down the hallways finding who is available, and look who I found. It's Hannah Weiss, the new head coach of your Capital cross country and track and field programs here, and we thought that it would be great to just kind of get to know you. I mean, you're obviously a new coach, a first-year head coach, and you're new to the Columbus area.
Yes.
So for all of our periscopers out there, it is absolutely essential that you send in your questions because I have so many, but I don't want to bore you. If you have a question for Coach Weiss, please send them in. If you have a comment or you're thinking about the program or thinking about coming and you want to be a recruit, come on, we're here for you. So please send your questions in. We'll ask Coach Weiss. I'm going to kick it off, though. Coach Weiss, so you are kind of from the Midwest, like further out in the Midwest. So
Yes.
talk about your journey first.
Okay, so I'm originally from Iowa. I'm from a small town. There's no stoplights in it, so you probably have never heard of it, but just a shout out to all my Dallas Center friends there. I graduated from Loras College, so it was a Dewhawk to start everything off. Wore some purple, a little gold as well. Then I went to North Central College as a graduate assistant there, worked with their men's team, got to be a part of a couple of national championship winning teams, including here at Capital in, 2011. And then I went back to Iowa to Coe College, worked with the middle distance and distance there, and then my last stop before Capital was at University of Central Oklahoma. So, I've just been all over the place a little bit.
So as a reminder, all you periscopers, if you like what you hear, or if you're a fan of Coach Weiss, tap that screen, give us some hearts, because that's how we know that we're doing something right, or we know that Coach Weiss is doing right. It'll go down in your annual report how many hearts you get on Periscope.
Keep me around, please.
So you mentioned the Dewhawks, is that right?
Dewhawks.
What is a Dewhawk?
It is a Dubuque hawk, and not to be confused with Coe's mascot, which was the Cohawk, which is Native American, the K-O part of it. For like a hawk. So we're just really big University of Iowa fans, I guess. So, everything on Eastern Iowa, they love Hawkeyes, and so it's kind of run around that same kind of course a little bit. But
Well, now you're an Iowa native. Now
Yes.
there's two big schools out there that typically get a lot of national attention, so be careful with this answer. You are in Buckeye country.
yeah.
Who do you have your allegiances with as far as those two big ones out there?
University of Iowa.
Okay.
But we don't have any professional sports teams, so that's the closest thing I had. So
Okay.
but yeah.
Well, talk about, hey, you're new to Columbus. What's been the best part about moving to Columbus?
Oh, definitely. I would. I'm a little bit biased. I love Capital so far. I feel like the hashtag CatFam is pretty awesome. Getting to meet some of the kids that have stopped by on campus, the athletic staff. But other than that, if I had to go outside of the Capital realm of things, I'm a big fan of Thurman's Burgers.
I found that already,
Yeah.
did you?
Twice already. I like the Western Burger, and I believe that was the other one. The Jaeger Burger were my two favorites. So
Okay. So how do you, for anybody that hasn't been to Thurman's, these things are monstrous. So what's the plan of attack? Are you cutting that thing into pieces? Or are you just diving in with both hands? How do you attack it?
I did the fork and knife. I hate to admit it, but I knew I was going to make a fool of myself if I did anything otherwise. So had to go about it that way.
All right, very good. As we mentioned, Periscopers, please, we got Hannah Weiss here for about the next 10 minutes or so. Ask your questions if you have any of Coach Weiss or about the program here at Capital University. She's the head coach of the women's and men's track and field and cross-country programs. So feel free to tap the screen, ask away, and we'll transfer your question on to her. And in the meantime, Coach, I noticed that you got a lot of bibs behind you there.
I do.
Talk about some. Are these your bibs?
Those are all my bibs. They're from when I was in college and a little bit of postcollegiate action, and so.
Okay, so talk about, are any of these more notable or more special to you than others?
Well, being from Iowa, the Drake Relays ones, those are huge for me. Along with, I have to say my NCAA bibs for when I ran at nationals in college myself. So
Okay, we've got 2 questions on the docket. Have you tried the food on campus yet?
I have not yet.
Okay.
But we have an admissions visit day, so I will at least try some of it, or at least a taste of it here. But Aramark, which is what we have here, is what I actually had when I was at Loris, too. So,
Okay.
So yes and no.
Well, we just spoke with our friends over at Aramark, and they're doing some very big things for us. So we're very excited to have that partnership. And the other question actually comes from somebody that I believe is on the team, Myron Gold.
Okay.
He asked, and so we have to get your permission first. TNT says that is the cleanest the office has ever looked. So he apparently is very impressed with your organization skills.
Thank you.
But Myron asked, is it possible to see the new uniforms?
Yes. Give me a second. I'll
Ooh.
pull them up.
You're getting an exclusive here, and we'll also, while you're getting that information, Ken Ledare, I think, asked, how many high jumpers and hurdlers are there so far? Doesn't say women's or men's, but I guess you can maybe give an estimate as to both.
High jumpers, as far as incoming student athletes, we actually have a good number of them. To give you an exact number off the top of my head, I could not give you one. But definitely, I would say if I had to give a range, right around between men and women, be somewhere between 5 and 10. I know that's kind of a large range, but for high jump specific, that's kind of what we're looking at. Hurdlers, not quite as many, but still a good chunk. And everything that I've seen for the team so far, and you always have to see what it's like when people get on campus. But I'm really excited. I think there's a ton of talent, a ton of potential on the team. So, not to give you an exact answer by any means, I apologize. But I think there'll be a lot of new faces as well as some old ones too. So.
Excellent. Well, I know that she's trying to get the uniforms up there. I think we have a digital copy there,
yes.
So we'll try to keep on going with that.
Slow, I so.
And anybody that is a Capital staff student probably understands that quandary all too well. So
the struggle is real.
So, in the meantime, while you're getting that up, we see that there is a poster here signed by, I believe, an Olympian. Is that right? Can you tell us a little bit while you're searching?
Sure. That's Susie Faber Hamilton. She was at one point number 1 in the world for the 1500. She ran sub 4 for the 1500, which would equate to an approximate right around like probably just under a 420 mile is what her PR would equate to. Great speaker, great motivational speaker. She's had a lot of personal issues, especially in the past recent years, but fantastic athlete. Really overcame a lot while she was in her athletic career as well too. So
excellent.
Have to like that.
Well, just as a reminder to all the Periscopers out there, if you enjoy what you're hearing, please give us hearts. And also swipe and share, as they say in Periscope land. Make sure that you're sharing this with all of your friends out there by swiping and sharing. This will boot it out to Twitter, and we're looking to get as much pub for Coach Weiss as we can for both her as a first-year head coach and for the program itself. We have some fantastic expectations I know that you have of the program yourself as well as us of you. So just talk about, while we're waiting on that to load up, some of those expectations. Cross country is obviously the first team that's going to be in season for you, so let's start there.
Well, I think the cross country team is a great example of everyone that I've met that's either an incoming cross country athlete or already a returner has really seemed like they want to be more competitive. They want to get after it. We want to move from the bottom to the middle to the top as far as the standings go. And I think really what we have to do from here is really just focus on getting better every single day. And it seems like everyone that I've talked to is super on board with that. And I have to say that I'm pretty pumped about it. So, it's one of those things that it's super easy to say everything, going into it, and it's another thing to do it. So we'll just have to see. Time will tell. So.
Okay. Now, you're a young runner, and you still run in your spare time, is that correct?
I do.
So are you going to try to challenge some of the team yourself and try to run alongside with them, or are they on their own and that's your own deal?
I'll probably run with them on easier runs, but in cross country specifically, track, it's a little bit of a different animal there, so not so much there. But I and I was a half miler in college, so, and I did cross country, but I did it more so because my team needed me and because it made me a better track athlete, not so much for my pure love of distance running, to be honest about it. But one thing that I told myself when I got my first job is that I would run a marathon, and so I have to sign up and run a marathon at some point in the near future.
Well, they do have a lot of those here in the Columbus and Central Ohio area. So,
but
all right. Well, Myron, I think we got your uniforms here loaded up, so we're going to hand it over to Coach Weiss. She's going to kind of explain it to us. So,
all right. So here we're going to go with Under Armour here this next year. The guys and the girls tops are going to be matching as far as the pattern and design. Where the logo will match a little bit better than what it's showing up here because this is just, again, a virtual mock-up. But those should be available here pretty soon. And then the bottoms are going to go with all black half tights. The other option was gray half tights for both guys and girls. It wouldn't, personally, I decided against that just for those of us out there that struggle with butt sweat. So, to be perfectly frank about it.
That would be, the struggle is very real with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it came through, but I'm trying to show that, like, it's not just a plain purple design on the back there either. There's a lot of
detail.
Yeah, a lot of detail that looks really, really nice with the Crusader Varsity C on there, and the sides there, you kind of got that swipe down the side of it, splitting the difference.
Yep.
Those are slick.
Yeah, they're pretty exciting there. I think Under Armour has done a really nice job in the past few years, specifically starting to move from just football to all the other sports, and they give us a great team deal as well too, as far as helping us out. So get something all fresh. You can all match this time. I'm pretty excited.
Everybody seems to be giving the thumbs up on there.
Right,
now,
good.
I guess the next question is that for both track and cross country, or are those just the cross country?
They are both.
Both, okay.
Yep, we are one team as far as I'm concerned. So.
Good deal. So it's like 6 seasons, but one team.
Yep.
See, I know that's the difference between you and I. You look at it as one team. Me, from my standpoint, I've got indoor, outdoor.
So many different rosters.
Yep, exactly.
Stuff, yeah.
So it's a little bit different, but I know that those are looking good. I think that you're going to be one of the best stress teams out there, no matter the performance.
Come on.
There you go. That's right. Now, lots of thumbs up, lots of hearts on that one. So.
Awesome.
The one thing that, we didn't mention is that, Coach, you are an All-American.
Yes.
And so you kind of, you've been there. You've been at the top. So just talk about some of the things that you did that got you there and have kept you at a pretty high level throughout your collegiate career.
Sure. And the one thing I always like to remind people of is, like, when I went from high school to college, I was not an elite level athlete or anything of that caliber. If you would have told me my senior year of high school that I was going to be an All-American, I would have laughed at you. I was very mediocre. I had one All-State award, and that was because I was the slowest member of a 4x4 team. So I could thank 3 other very fast girls from Dowling Catholic High School for that. But I went to a Division III program with very little expectation for myself specifically. I just knew I loved to run, and I wanted to see kind of where it would go. And I didn't think I would get killed on the team, so that's kind of how it ended up being. And and I had a coach that really cared about me. He didn't just yell at me when I screwed up. He was honest. He was disappointed, and that was worse. And eventually, I realized kind of what I could be, and I just bought into the training, I bought into the program, and I trusted everything that my coach told me to, and I realized how much more I could work for a team rather than just myself, and it all kind of just came together like that. And so I started off I PR'd my freshman year with a 223 in the 800, and I went to a 216, a 213, and then to a 211 by the time I got to my senior year. And I owe so much of that to my coach and giving me the opportunity to do well. And he's a big reason why I want to be, why I'm in coaching. I want to give other people that opportunity. I can't make anybody great, but I can give them every opportunity possible to do so.
So the interesting thing, and again, for anybody that's out there, please send in your questions if you do have any for Coach. And it doesn't just have to be about the program. It can be just to learn about Coach Weiss. But the one interesting thing that if you look at your bio, is that you actually are not a first-time Capitol visitor.
No.
You actually came here and you took away some hardware a couple of years ago. Talk about that experience.
I did. So my first year in coaching, I was at North Central College and I worked with the men's team there. And super grateful for my experience there. I got to be a part of a super established program with some awesome coaches I learned a ton from. And our indoor national championship was actually held here at Capitol. And so the first time I ever won a national championship was actually here. And that's the only reason why I actually decided to show this off was because that's where Capitol was where it was earned. And so that's what you get if you win a national championship. And it was the only year that we actually decided to give out watches to all the coaches, and it happened to be the year that we were here at Capitol. So
well, that just means that you need to bring that piece of hardware back to Capitol, but this time make it stay here.
Yeah, actually, I'd be happy to throw that one away and just get a brand new one. So that'd be great.
Well, that's what we're hoping for too. Yeah. I know it's kind of a process, but again, last call for questions for Coach Weiss if you're out there. Don't forget to swipe and share this on your individual Twitter feeds. TNT is showing rings and trophies emoticons here, so apparently the expectation is mutual. So, all right. But also, send in your questions, share this Periscope, and don't forget to follow us on Periscope as well as on Instagram and on Twitter at Cap Crusaders. So is the meet schedule set yet? And if so, are there any out-of-state meets? That's what Myron asked. And Myron, we actually have already updated the online schedules. So you can go onto our website, athletics.capitol.edu. But Coach Weiss, why don't you speak to that as well?
As far as the track-specific schedules, because cross-country, that one is set.
Excuse me, I should have clarified. Cross-country is set. Track and field, we're still finalizing.
Yeah, and really where Easter falls this year, it's going to make it a little tricky for an out-of-state meet. I know that it's been a really fun part of the experience in the years past, and I want to keep that any way that I can. So we're still on the drawing board a little bit for that. To be completely frank, while I find track extremely important, my focus has just been on cross country a little bit more with it coming up here in a couple weeks. So if there's any ideas, brainstorming, that you like, this place was awesome, I want to come back to it, let me know. I would love to hear about it. Mm-hmm. I've looked into a couple different ones already, but it's just kind of tricky making it work with that Easter weekend this year because it is early.
The thought here from @TKing is anywhere warm.
Anywhere warm, all right.
We might have to go south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm started looking at some midweek meets to kind of work with that Easter weekend, so people aren't missing time with their families too. So again, if you want to do any of your research and you're like, I found Rhodes College has a midweek meet and it's going to work, I'm all ears. And
I hear that Rhodes is pretty much next to or embedded in barbecue heaven.
Yes. Great too, so.
Very good. Well, we appreciate all of your questions. Coach Weiss, we appreciate your time. Are there any other last comments that you want to say to anybody that's out there watching or will watch here on the replay?
Sure. If you are thinking about going out for track and field here at Capitol for this next year, check your email. If you didn't get an email, come to the August 31st meeting here in the Cap Center in room 202. And
for anybody that may still be in school and are thinking about places where they might want to be recruited.
Absolutely. Then in which case, go to our website, fill out our recruiting questionnaire, and I would love to get a hold of you.
Sounds excellent. And the website, if you're unfamiliar, is athletics.capitol.edu. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope, all at the same handle, which is @CapCrusaders. Coach Weiss, are you on the Twitter train?
I am, and I'm not at the same time. I feel like I'm starting to get old. I don't know what it's about, but I am transitioning over to Twitter again.
Well, we're going to have to get your social media all shored up. So when you do, we'll be on Johnny on the spot with that.
Will do.
All right. Well, anybody that's out there, once again, thanks for watching the Periscope. Be sure to swipe and share so that this gets pushed out to many, many more people. We are going to have the replay available for 24 hours, and then after it expires, we'll make sure that it gets back onto the cross-country and track and field websites on athletics.capital.edu. So, again, Coach Weiss, thank you for joining us. Be sure to join us, all you other Periscopers out there, as we interview more of our first-year head coaches as well as other people down the hall. And to you, Coach Weiss, congratulations. Welcome to Capital, and good luck in your first year.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Give hearts, share it on Twitter, everybody, and we'll be back on at Cap Crusaders and athletics.capital.edu. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys.